Say something real.
Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real.
Respectfully. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Can't get them instruments back this morning.
Can't give a musician anything.
I thought she had messed up at it. She brought them damn old instruments back in, you know.
Gave it back to me.
We done got the groove now. Get that groove right there. Respectfully, yeah. Respectfully, I love you. Respectfully, I need you. Michelle, my bell. Ring that bell when I say my bell.
Gotcha. Let's go ahead.
Michelle, my bell.
Say it again, Doc.
First
We in
of
there.
all,
Michelle, my bell. Respectfully, I love you. Respectfully, I need you, baby.
why?
Come on.
Why can I not just have a regular
You brought them
group
damn instruments
of
back in here.
people?
Respectfully, babe, ring my bell.
I know. It's people at
You can
home.
ring my bell this morning, yeah. You know, respectfully though. Ring my bell respectfully
And
though.
there's people at home this morning like, please, smack both of them right now. Oh my
You
God.
can ring my bell.
See, that's a sweet bell. Where that damn
Bell
bell
for
at?
I should
Michelle.
have gave it back. I should have gave it back.
That's the one. That's the
I
one.
felt, look, I felt bad.
Cowbell. Ring my cowbell. Yeah.
What is wrong? That does not sound good, man.
He has left the building.
Ring my damn bell.
I promise you, them damn bells will be nowhere to be found after I get off the
You
air.
mean that's it for the
They
bells?
will be nowhere to be
Lord.
found. They're gonna be in the
Mercy,
back
Jesus.
seat of my vehicle as I leave.
Oh,
Good morning, bruhs.
Good morning,
Childish
sis. How are you?
individuals that y'all are.
Yeah, we felt that time. Yeah, Jamaica,
Yeah,
we felt that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
man, that thing was
you
bubbling.
know, Mr.
Yeah.
Love Piece of Soul over here with his shades on.
Yeah.
He done with all his
Yeah, dog, he was in it.
You know,
Soon
that really
he said,
was
lights,
one of the,
camera,
he
action,
felt
here
that
it goes.
thing.
That shoulder move like this.
Yeah, that is. That's all we
He
need.
came in here with his Daisy Dukes on, legs hanging out. Like, oh, he feeling himself
not
today.
Daisy Dukes.
I'm just saying, you got the little shots on
Yeah.
with your little calves hanging out.
Oh,
Breathe.
so you
Must
saying
feel
that
good
he's,
about himself.
that he's giving off zaddy, see, giving off zaddy vibes, huh?
Really? Is that what we're
And for
doing,
the folks
Jermaine?
that don't know, what
zaddy
are,
vibes.
what are zaddy vibes? I'm
Wow.
telling you,
Wow.
he sashayed across the
How-
street.
How
I
quickly
said,
that
oh.
changed from Ring My Bell to Zaddy Vibes.
Hey, man.
I'm just saying.
That's a new song.
Dude, he was sashaying.
Yeah,
I
man,
said,
he felt
oh,
good, man. The
he
sun's shining.
He got his summer sachet on.
Pull up in the
You don't
Benz,
get
you
to- You don't get
understand?
to wear these short things, but a few days a year, and it's over.
Hey, I see you popped out on him though.
Hey, man, that cat got,
What you working with?
God, I got some
That cat got
cute little
cocoa
legs.
butter on his knees.
Yeah,
He got,
Jermaine,
he got shea butter.
really, Jermaine.
Okay.
and his legs are light skinned compared to the rest.
See, you
Two-tone Larry over here.
you let Michelle keep you from wearing
Yeah,
shorts.
Doc.
No,
Well,
That one
he
day
had
you wore
shorts
them
on
shorts in here.
yesterday.
I got on shorts today, brother.
Yeah, he had
And
them
I
on
keep my
yesterday.
You didn't wear
calves.
them other shorts no more.
Those was my
Oh,
workout
that
shorts.
was one of the shows I was watching.
Those my workout
I was
shorts.
dying
I was going
laughing.
to
Work
work
out
out.
my behind.
Hey, well, you
Oh, my
know what?
God.
Hold on.
They're raggedy shorts.
Yeah, hey, since he talking about
Hit
shorts,
him up.
we ain't gonna talk about that hefty bag soup. He be wearing the funerals that be singing loud as soon as he get out the
Dude,
car.
why y'all always gotta
I'm
attack
just saying,
me?
man.
I mean,
Just turn into a
you know, Jermaine can't take it, bro.
You can't give me
if
no
you,
room
if
for
you
nothing.
Can't, if you ain't figured it out,
Uh-uh.
he
Whenever
give-
somebody get on him, he said, "That's
Yeah.
okay, Debo.
yeah, he
I
give
got
it.
you. He
Yeah,
waiting
he
on
can't
me.
take it.
I got a whole bunch of stuff for
Ralph
you.
Tresvant show up with
Yeah, Doc. I
with
come
a,
out.
with a butcher knife.
Hey, Doc.
Man,
I got a whole lot. I've been writing in the comfort of my own home.
A man like Jermaine.
People would really just like to hear us say good morning.
Hey, I be
Let's
trying.
try that once. Just try.
Okay,
Just
try
say,
asking me.
good morning, Michelle. How are you?
Well, I mean, she got to ask me first.
See, really,
Yeah, hey,
really,
I just can't walk up to you and be like,
and just say good morning.
no.
Yeah, what?
because my day ain't gonna
that's
go
what
right.
other people do.
I know, but my day,
Yeah, they sure don't have the ratings yours do though.
I have a 1, 2.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because they just say good morning.
I was watching those shows yesterday, doing my FCC report, and I came across the show. I think it was after Memorial Day, when Jermaine was saying, "I spent time with myself."
Yeah, that
We
one.
killed him. Oh my God, we killed him that morning. Oh, I watched that show like 3 times. The beginning, man, we killed you on that show.
But I do spend time with myself.
And as I said that day,
Yeah.
you single. That's all you do. is spend time with
Him and ESPN.
Yeah, me and ESPN, yeah.
He know every
We get along
trade,
right.
every play.
No, but really, I really do.
Do we know?
Yeah,
and then,
really do.
Debo talking about his little holiday, well, Memorial Day weekend, and Jermaine talking about, yeah, I got that nitro in me. Not share worthy at all. So
Hey, man.
well, good morning, black men in the studio.
Good morning, black woman in the
Have
studio.
no home training
No, we
whatsoever.
do names for names.
All y'all mamas need to be
Hey, man.
questioned.
My good
Hey,
mornings
Adeline,
need to
good
be
morning.
personal.
I'm sorry, what?
My good morning need to be personal. Yeah,
What
call
you-
me Raph.
What? Hey, wait a minute.
No, you got to ask me separately outside of Good Morning Brothers.
Wait a minute.
I'm feeling some
Because
kind
you
of way,
sound a little
people.
strong over
I'm feeling
there.
some kind of way,
And I
man.
want you to
He
to
is-
understand.
He is being somewhat aggressive.
Miss Hardy, if you
need,
listening,
I need you to understand this is a way to handle me, bro.
Hey, well,
And
come
you-
on with it,
You're a
then.
little rough
Huh?
right now.
Yeah,
Let me
I'm a
put
little
it-
rough. I
I
feel
put
some
the
kind of
camera
way.
on wide view
Hey, yeah, put it on
in
me,
case
man.
emotions.
Yeah, some fun to
Something
get
go
the
to
mood
happen.
around.
Let folks get that last look at him before they have to.
Before he be
Last
upside
look.
down, his feet be in the air.
It's the final viewing.
Hey, because after a while, I'm gonna be upside down.
Put that in the caption.
Yeah,
It's the final viewing.
Hey,
He made final viewing.
I'm just saying,
He
man.
lost his mind.
Hey, man, mine gotta be personal.
But I'm gonna just
Be personal.
no. Don't try to soften
Well,
it down.
well.
Now you want to
You-
put it
yeah.
in melody.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay,
A
well, ask
melody.
me.
But after you done talked a little rough and aggressive,
Yeah, sometimes you gotta
What
lay
Keon
down
say?
the law.
sometimes these cats be rough handlers.
Yeah.
like,
Meow mix.
because I'm like, yeah, you be handling people rough.
Yeah,
He just because I be messing with rough handlers.
that's it.
I'm like,
I can understand that.
well,
Now I'm ready.
I'm not.
Okay.
I guess you understood that, didn't you,
Dang.
young fella?
I'm ready, man.
So hey, Debo, you
Oh.
good?
Good morning, Michelle.
You
I'm
good?
fine. I didn't request a personal good morning,
It's
but
appreciated.
certainly
It's appreciated.
I'm elated, that you chose to do that.
There you go.
I thank you so much for my personal good
Wake
morning
up,
this morning.
everybody.
No more sleeping in
Gotta
bed.
go put you to sleep.
Respectfully.
No back was thinking.
I don't
Yeah,
know that.
that
that
part
need
right
to,
there.
that need to be part of the show.
Yeah.
Well,
Time
actually, for those that listen, we play it every morning right before we go into pits.
Oh, really?
That is a staple.
But yet
take
I
us
get,
into the
Lord, I
pits.
don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't get that. I can't get
I'll
the
be
reverse.
confused.
Yeah,
Lord, I still ain't figured this thing out.
I'm
it's
like,
a staple. It's
the
when you
Lord.
listen to that particular song, it's just
Yeah,
one
man.
that does it for me.
Yeah.
It
Music
speaks
and
to the
everything. Yeah.
preacher. It speaks
Yeah.
to the teacher, the
The pimp,
mother, the
player.
father,
Yeah,
the
everybody.
one that's out here messing up. It speaks to all of us. So
Yeah.
Teddy and them boys put that together there,
Yeah.
and I love it. So it's a staple that we play every morning.
Oh, I like it. All right. Hey, Jermaine.
Hello, hello,
Now back to Ralph Tresvant.
hello, hello. Nah, respectfully, Michelle. Just want to say good morning.
you act like you was gonna act right, and then you
I was.
went right into.
I was,
he wasn't.
but I changed
It's
my
not
mind.
in him. It
I
ain't
want to say,
in him.
Michelle,
Mhm.
respectfully,
Yes.
from me and JT Senior, I want to say respectfully good morning.
You say respectfully one more time. I'll be doing it to JT too. Say respectfully one more time.
That's my dude right there.
Say it one more time. JT called in like 9,000 times yesterday.
He'd be like, one more time, respectfully, Keith, one more time, Shell.
JT was on it yesterday.
That's my
All right,
dude.
so let me just say this. Speaking of people that's on it, did y'all see the story about the father who jumped into the Atlantic Ocean,
To save his daughter,
save his 5-year-old daughter?
and he passed away.
No,
Oh, so that ain't
no, everybody lived.
good. Good.
They were on a Disney cruise,
Oh.
leaving out of Florida on their way to the Bahamas.
Oh,
and they were up on the 4th level of the ship. And the 5-year-old baby girl somehow or another fell off the cruise ship.
Lord.
And people saw her go over. Her father was right there. He jumped into the Atlantic Ocean and got hold of his daughter.
I know that's right.
And then he treaded water. I
know that's right. That's
somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes until they lowered one of the boats off the side and got to him and got him out. But I was reading that the you're on the cruise ship, and the thing that they said over the air that the passengers heard was Mr. MOB, port side, and that meant man overboard. But they has not to scare passengers, but some people knew exactly what it meant. But they said Mr. MOB, port side, and people knew that was man overboard. And but the father, bad boy. Bad boy. And they said that they had begun to drift, while they were waiting. So they were drifting further away from the ship. But when I say, man, when you talk about your daddy, man,
but something like that, to see your child go overboard, like, you don't have time to think. You got to react quickly.
Right.
Because of, that child is going under.
Yeah. And so they got the pictures of the crew immediately getting out there to get them. Wow. I'm looking at the little photo right now, the baby girl in her little sandals and, t-shirt and shorts, and one of the female crew members hanging on to her, and dad just sitting on the side of the boat, looking like that's what daddies do.
I'm be honest, but
I mean, that's just, he literally is sitting there.
I don't need no award, no reward.
No nothing. I got the award.
I got my baby. I
got
my baby. That's all I did. I ain't no man of the year.
None of that.
Tall respect. And I promise I thought about Kendall Porter's father pinning that pin on him during the ceremony. And just, I'm gonna tell you, and we have different conversations, we play around, but we do, I think, a lot of good work too, talking about the role of fathers. But man, when you see moments like those, like that photo of Kendall Porter and his dad, and this man jumping into the water to get that little girl, get his daughter, man, for the folks that have had dads that were present and accountable and in their lives, I tell people all the time, you're some of the most fortunate people in the world. Because it's people talk about mothers and how they will go above and beyond and protect their children. I think it's parents across the board. It shows up in a different kind of way. And I was even teasing my own brother about what, being a dad or a father looks like, because people have those debates about, is there a difference when you use the word daddy versus father? But parents that show up for their children in exceptional ways, risk everything, give everything, man, kudos to y'all this morning, because it makes all the difference in the world. And when I say that little girl and her dad will have a bond like no other forever, most likely because of this situation. And I know his wife is looking at her husband like, and that's why you got chose right there. That's why you got picked. But yeah, he literally sitting on the side of the boat, just sitting there like, what? Was it any doubt I was going in that water to get this little girl? What? But to the other point that we also talk about, I couldn't have jumped in the water and saved my son from nothing because I can't swim. I would have jumped in, but I would have drowned, because I've seen those stories too, where parents who really aren't equipped to get in that kind of water. You're talking about the Atlantic Ocean, not a swimming pool. And so summer is a prime time for folks to take swimming lessons, give your children swimming lessons. Again, understanding the magnitude of this circumstances. Don't know how much that would have helped that little girl, but she might have been able to tread water herself. But if you don't know how to swim, and unfortunately, there are so many Black children that do not know how to swim because of the availability of pool access, where they can go to get lessons, where they can go to swim on a regular basis. Um, this is a prime opportunity to please take advantage of classes, the Milwaukee Rec program, uh, wherever you need to go to get that taken care of. So I just wanted to shout out, and I hadn't been able to come across the dad's actual name to say his name. But yeah, just mad respect for that father. And before I go to break, speaking of fathers, I was watching some of the interview that was done by what's her name? Chang. Oh my God, what's her name? I cannot think of her name, but anyway, she is the reporter, and she was interviewing the Chrisleys from the reality TV show after having been released from serving roughly about 2 years of a combined 19-year prison sentence that they received for bank and wire fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy back in 2022. So these people were said to have, I think the number was somewhere. I know it was millions. Like, let me see how much money the Chrisleys had underreported and how much money. But anyway, so here is their daughter lobbying Donald Trump to get them out of jail. Okay. Even though they were found guilty. And Donald Trump, who has a penchant or pennant for people that should be in jail like he should, he let them out. They had 19 combined years for embezzlement and fraud in terms of obtaining loans that totaled over $36 million. So this is the example this child's daddy was setting. They did a lot of the stuff that Donald Trump did, which was falsify financial documents to banks in the Atlanta area to be able to secure loans, get a different interest rate, get access to stuff that they shouldn't have had. They filed for bankruptcy and walked away from over $20 million of fraudulently obtained loans. Like, I didn't even think you could file bankruptcy on crime because the loans were fraudulent in the first place. So how are you able to file bankruptcy on money that you stole? That was 20 million. So they interviewed the Chrisleys and they talked about their experiences in jail. But Todd Chrisley, and anybody that's ever watched the show, Todd Chrisley is a whole hot mess. And Todd Chrisley, talked about how that they had like work programs, and his wife was saying that at the facility she was at, that she was actually driving a tractor, like working the farm area, whatever she was doing. And Todd Chrisley was like, "No, I ain't do no work. I came to serve my time. I didn't come to work for the state of, Georgia or whatever. So no, I didn't do any of that." There was nothing about them that sounded contrite or apologetic or remorseful. There was almost a degree of arrogance in the way Todd Chrisley talked. His wife is always way more, chilled and laid back and more reasonable acting. He is extra and just over the top. That's why, it's easy to understand how they had a reality show. But they chose to blame other people and just not take responsibility for what they did. There's no way these people should be out free. Just absolutely no way they should be free. And that's that frustrating part about when you look at the justice system, even when you look at our government right now and what's happening, and people with money, access, wealth, means are able to curry favor and do some of the most heinous, you know, dirty, downright out of order things, and still manage to be okay, still get treated and handled differently than people. I mean, I think about how somebody gets handled that you know, would steal, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 worth of appliances from the local Target or Sears or somewhere. You'll get handled rougher than these people got handled stealing $36 million, because nobody would be coming to pardon you and let you just walk away scot-free. So, you know, it's all kinds of people.
Personal ignorance.
Uh-huh.
But can you enlighten me as well as maybe some of the other listeners as to what the Chrisleys did?
In terms of the crime?
Yes.
As I said, they were filing the same thing Donald Trump did. They would overinflate property values, money that they had, so that they could get favorable loans from banking institutions.
Mm-hmm.
They really didn't have the things that they said that they had. And so here's the bank issuing you a loan, millions and millions of dollars, only to find out that they were obtained fraudulently.
Mm.
And when the banks and everybody figure out what the Chrisleys have done, because then they got charged with tax evasion, they were not reporting, you know, all the stuff they were doing in terms of the businesses, again, trying to get favorable tax breaks. And when they get busted and found out, they filed for bankruptcy. And again, how do you file for bankruptcy on money that was illegally gotten? Like, you should have to pay that back. So it is, you know, and Todd Chrisley talked about that his former business associate, a guy by the name of Mark Braddock, helped the couple, who testified that he helped the couple falsify documents, that this man, you know, faked everything, hacked into his account, that he did everything himself. And he was the person and not the Chrisleys who did anything wrong. But the evidence didn't support that. So, this was the other little tidbit. Braddock also claimed that he had a relationship with Todd that was more than just a professional relationship, that they were romantically involved. And Todd Chrisley denied the allegations or the accusations, but then he said, he's never approached me in that manner. Well, if I was going to do that, it wouldn't be with somebody that was broke. It wouldn't be with somebody that looks like him. That's what he said.
Mm.
So this man said, oh no, we messed around. And Todd Chrisley said, I wouldn't mess with a man that's broke or that is not attractive.
He's not his type, in other words.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So
Respectfully.
Yeah.
and
Wow.
then
Respectfully.
and the
Wow.
thing is, from what we're hearing, they have been ordered to pay $17 million in restitution. But we are hearing that they already have a deal on the table for a reality show again. So they're going to make millions upon millions upon millions. So all of it was a sham, their wealth and how well they were doing. They was just telling one lie after another to get these fraudulent loans. Let me go to the phone line real quick and then I'm gonna take a break. Hey caller, what's happening? Hello?
Michelle?
Yes.
Excuse me one moment. I think I took you off of my Bluetooth. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good
Good-
morning, Devo, and my apologies for your the other person that who answered the phone. I can never remember his name.
Jermaine.
Jermaine.
car.
Yeah.
Trolley.
Well, hi, everybody. Huh?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So listen, Michelle. Well, first of all, Debo, is he there?
Yes, he's here. He hear you.
Oh, Debo, I want to thank you for taking a picture with me at the blues fest, the day at the R&B day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember me, but I posted it on the station's website.
Thank
So
you.
you're welcome. And so, Michelle, I did see that documentary, that joke of a documentary yesterday, and everything you said to the 10th power. They feel privileged. First of all, Todd does pretty much all the talking, which is probably the person who talked them right into some handcuffs. And but Julie, I believe she had just as much to do with it because they are privileged. I mean, they got off because of privilege and who they are. And number 47, of course, is the one that was at the helm of everything. I didn't know that they were conservative to the point where they were a rah rah shish when it came to number 47. And it could be also, I don't know if you know, Michelle, that their daughter just started hanging out with him and his clan um, around the time he was campaigning. Well, no, I take that back because Todd did say he voted for him the last time he was in office for a hot minute.
Right.
So it's just so it's just such a joke. It's horrible. And and another thing that kind of got under my skin when he said those weren't a jury of my peers. There were no millionaires on the
Could
jury.
you believe that?
So
Could you believe that?
like, are you serious?
Oh
Do you
my
actually
God.
think?
Yeah,
that
and
they
like, and a
would have
lot of
been
your money was stolen money. So it's not like
that's
you.
what yeah. Yes. Sure. You're gonna. The process. The defense attorneys are gonna be running around trying to find a bunch of people in the high percentage income that defrauded banks for over $30 million and had a crooked accountant. Oh, sure. Let's fight for getting those type of people on the
Yeah, because if
jury.
that's the case, how many jurors are peers of Sean Combs? If that's the case,
Exactly.
racially or financially,
There
like
you go.
So yeah, it was just like I said, the arrogance of these people,
Yes.
and it just disgusts me because I'm like, it is my prayer that nobody would watch this when it comes back on
Hmm.
reality TV. But of course,
Yeah.
people
I'm
will.
not.
Of course, people
You know
will.
what?
And then they got a little
Not.
black girl that's caught up in their little family
Oh my
foolishness.
gosh.
They
Their
got that baby.
granddaughter.
Yeah, the granddaughter. She caught up in all
Oh
their
my.
ignorance.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because that was something else that hit my that I was thinking when their daughter was had taken a picture with 47 and there and the little girl was standing in that picture. I
Yep.
said to myself, that man doesn't give a darn about that little girl or anybody that has a drop of black blood in them. So it's like it was a it was showboating.
She looked like
It
a
was
prop. She looked like a prop.
that's it. There you
Yep.
go.
To just
There
make
you
make
go.
the
A
family look
prop.
better, more humane. She looked like a prop.
That's right.
But
It was a fake and a fraud. And, you know, who knows? It's like, he could care less about people of color. So, and you've got that little girl up there looking like just, it was just embarrassing. I felt bad for the little girl because eventually she's going to grow up and she's going to know the history of 47 and wonder, well, why was I there?
well, I mean, that she may or may not, because there's plenty of black conservatives running around. She might just go along with what the family is doing. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
You all
Thank
have
you.
a great day.
You too.
You're
And
welcome.
let me give respect. It was Juju Chang that did the interview. Juju Chang that did the interview. Um, Chrisley. All right, y'all. I gotta take a break. I'll be right back.
Now, back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant, on WNOV.
All right, family. So since I was speaking about fathers, parents, let me bring Sean Combs into the conversation. So the jury is now deliberating. They deliberated for about 5 hours yesterday about the fate of Sean Combs. A number of people have like, hey Shell, what you think? What's happening? And I'm like, uh, I don't know that the state fully proved some elements of their case, but he will get convicted of something. I think that the images of him kicking and dragging this woman down a hallway are seared in the minds of people. It's just a bad look. What?
My problem that I'm having is he's not on trial for domestic violence.
Right.
So
that's why I said.
you,
And even that whole, took women across state lines for freak offs and sex offs. I'm gonna just tell you one thing. I think that the defense made a mistake. I would have had a female lawyer,
Yeah.
questioning the females, because you could ask questions in a way that were not deemed as aggressive as men, and that imagery of a man, asking difficult questions, particularly of Cassie, who was pregnant. And when women were talking about he was going to take my car, he was going to take my apartment if I didn't do the freak offs. The one thing, and it sounds so trifling, and I know it does. It sounds horrific, but I'm going to say it. Was your name on the car or the apartment?
that part.
Because I can't take from you what you don't own. And a lot of y'all got allowances and money. Did you use any of your money to buy your own stuff? Like, there were just certain elements of it that, I did the sex offs because I didn't want to lose my apartment. It was not your apartment. You were staying in somebody else's stuff. You didn't pay for it. You didn't make the monthly payments. You didn't do anything to secure it. It was not your stuff. And so when people decide they no longer want to give you their stuff or give you access, I mean, it was just the way certain things were talked about, like people were entitled to these things. And these were arrangements. They were arrangements, quite frankly. And, but nobody, and I thought about the fact that he has daughters, he got sons. Diddy has 7 children in total. And this the example you set, in addition to being a business owner and amassing great wealth and the fashion industry, and we got clothes, Sean John, named after your children. I mean, you got all of that, but you also got this thing going on. And I've never understood people who could beat their spouses or girlfriends or partners or men, and definitely not do it where your children knew that this stuff was happening. And how you look at your daughter, knowing you don't put your hands on somebody else's daughter. Like, I just have never understood any of that for the life of me. I'm looking at people like, so would you want somebody handling your child the way you handling somebody's child right now? Because it's just crazy to me. And if one of his daughters came home and said, Daddy, my boyfriend jumped on me, he'll be the first one probably rounding up his crew to go, pistol whip somebody for beating on your daughter. But you on video stomping and dragging this girl down the hall by her hair. Although I will also say, I have long time said, they know who to choose. Because you couldn't have been barefoot or in some socks and a towel and stomping me. That towel would have been snatched and everything up under that towel would have been snatched. You wouldn't have been stopping me. So I'm just letting you know right now. You wouldn't have been stopping me, fam.
Hold the pliers.
He ain't even a big enough cat to be doing all of that. I'm just looking at him like, boy, but y'all know who to choose. I said all the time, it don't never be me. Y'all know who to choose. and look at the list of people that came through there. It's a type, it's a size, it's a demureness about them. You know who to mess with, because people will pop your head. It's a whole bunch of people. Oh my God, Jesus. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good
Hello.
morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for being there. Thanks for all the information. I'm just a Milwaukee guy, Michelle. I think we talked a couple times, and
We have. I know the voice.
I appreciate all the information about Washington, D.C., and about Madison, and about Hollywood stars, and this and that. And
Go ahead, give me your local
I'm just
story.
I'm just a Milwaukee guy.
I know it. Go ahead.
We don't have to go very far to find disrespect on the north side.
And the example you have for me today is?
Today, well, I just wanted to thank Alderwoman Taylor.
Okay.
She's on top of it out there on the northwest side, and he just had the Granville Blues Festival. And I just want to point out how the north side of Milwaukee is treated in this city.
Okay.
You've got Visit Milwaukee. This is an arm of the Baird Center. And as I said before, the Baird Center, $476 million project, that's all being paid for by you and I every time we have a drink or food, go to a hotel, rent a car, anything we do in this city, money from that event goes to the Baird Center. The Baird Center pays for the Visit Milwaukee people. The Visit Milwaukee people, paid for with our money, failed on the first weekend to mention the Granville Blues Festival in the city of Milwaukee. They mentioned everything else going on downtown and Bayview and Oak Creek and Waukesha. Did not mention the Blues Festival. I believe that Alderwoman Taylor got a hold of somebody, and for the second weekend, it was advertised. It was given a blurb on their website, which is really, really disappointing. When you think about the millions of dollars that they get from the people of the North Side to promote the city of Milwaukee, and then you don't even get the Blues Festival, the one event going on. But let me go on from there. But the Blues Festival, the disrespect continues from our own city hall in the city of the Department of City Development. The Granville Blues Festival on Blacktop. Are you serious? One tree on the property. A trucking outfit was placed next to this event by the Department of City Development and our previous alderwoman.
You talk about it. The trucking company has been there for some time now, and the Granville bid itself is a business incubator of sorts in terms of supporting local businesses in the area. And so the building that is adjacent to where the tent was, all of that is now space that I think there's a grand opening set sometime in the next month to house those businesses and give them access to commercial kitchens, X, Y, and Z. So they use that space because it's free to them, because it's their parking lot, connected to that whole little mall area over there. So it makes sense to hold it there because vendors can set up everything. They are able to offer those vendors the ability to come either for free or at minimal charge because they have access to that. And so it is a matter of both business and convenience that space is used. So I
understand that.
And I'm just saying, so we can't really, try to call out the city and players for saying the green space is awful because it's a commercial parking lot. It is a business parking lot. So while aesthetically it would be great, and we've seen people do great things with ag and greenery and arborists coming in and prettying up an area. We definitely know that exists, but to be fair, that is a commercial block of land. So I wouldn't expect to see a ton of greenery out there.
No. Let me be clear, Michelle. What I'm complaining about is the misstep that was taken by the Department of City Development to allow a trucking outfit to go on that property. That's a retail outfit. Could you imagine a trucking outfit being at Southridge? I don't think so.
No, the one thing that is noticeable is that is becoming much more of a commercial corridor than was originally designed and planned.
Michelle, there is no plan. That is the reason. Anything can
I said
go.
that was originally planned. When I moved into the Northridge area specifically because of what it used to be. When we first moved here, and there was the shopping mall and the restaurants and, just all kinds of attractions for families
Michelle,
and
they call it a parking lot. They call the northwest side a parking lot.
And,
it has more
it is
concrete.
becoming much more of a commercial corridor. But what I will
Yep.
also tell you is that there are people that, while having a trucking company on that strip may not be ideal, people were also happy not to have blight and abandoned properties and somebody over there paying taxes on some of that land that's just sitting dormant. So it's a mixed bag of what happens when an area, when resources are pulled away from an area.
Thank you.
And it's allowed to diminish. And then people are like, look, we are happy to have a responsible business in the area while not aesthetically pleasing. They are a good community partner.
Absolutely.
The area is kept up well. People are getting employed. So,
Michelle,
we juggle it, definitely.
Michelle, please do not misunderstand. I'm 100% with the Granville bid. They are doing a wonderful job with, as you said, no money. We just gave $30 million to the Summerfest. We just gave money to pay for the hop forever. And aldermen do not even know that they voted for this, Michelle, that they voted for the hop downtown. We gave land to a developer who has refused to agree to community benefits and hire people from the city. We still gave him land.
I mean,
this is a misappropriation of assets, as you're saying.
Look, and I'm just gonna say this, and then if it's okay, I'm gonna move on. But I just know we got to be able to be aware of all of the moving parts with what went on with the Granville bid this year, losing Mary Honey as their executive director. Mary Honey was someone that was very well connected. The Granville bid. The Granville Blues Festival would be advertised everywhere. They would be in the Shepherd Express. They've been
Michelle, with all due respect.
No, let me finish my point.
3 years ago,
let me finish my point. Because what I want to say is that, so I don't know, because there was some question about whether or not it would even continue to happen after Mary left. And so people were scrambling to put it together. So depending on, some of those moving parts, not defending Visit Milwaukee, but I know that the festival was in question of even happening this year.
Yep.
So some of that information could have come late. I don't know, but I just know that it wasn't the usual. And I'm not saying that Visit Milwaukee has not done things to slight Northwest Milwaukee, Northside Milwaukee. I used to talk to them about African Festival when I managed African World Festival. So I hear you. There's legitimacy to the concerns you're raising. I'm just saying, for the listening audience that is hearing our discussion, that I'm also aware that there were other moving parts in the background, at least on Granville, that could have impacted some of that information being shared as well. Because
Michelle,
I even looked at the signage and stuff that they did. It was not the usual quality of stuff that I was used to in terms of seeing it advertised. But go ahead.
Sure. No, I just finished. Thank you very much for the time.
Not a problem.
I think you mentioned poignantly that about Ravinia down in Chicago.
Yeah.
Michelle, let me just finish. 3,000 feet from this blacktop event, the Granville Blues Festival, 3,000 feet away is a 50-acre tree, completely wooded event. The old YMCA, the Cudahy YMCA, right. And Alderwoman Taylor is in the fight of her life because she is being disrespected She asked to hold this project, and the planning commission, she's the only alderwoman in 26 years that I've watched this, only alderwoman that was denied holding an item so that she could talk to her community.
So
the only time it's happened in
is
26 years.
What's the proposal for that area? What are they trying to do over
This
there?
is Cudahy Farms. They have a developer. He's going to cut down thousands and thousands of trees. All those trees at the YMCA are coming down. 29 buildings are going to go up, low income housing included, typical apartment buildings on a 50-acre site with wetlands and distinctive trees. 42 species of birds have been identified, and this is right next to the low-income housing unit out there, where the children don't have anything out there. And now we're going to take the last recreation space on the northwest side and cut down all the trees. And this is coming up. This is coming up this week. This is Cudahy Farms. This is it's a secret event. They got all the inside politicians are involved. This is going to be run through in July, and then we go to August recess. Nobody's going to know about it. This is a plan to, this is a bad development. And again, Michelle, there's no plan. There's no plan for Northridge, for the Granville Blues area, for this Cudahy Farms area. If there was one beautiful plan with woods, this could be the greatest destination in the city of Milwaukee if we played our cards right. But we are playing our cards completely wrong. Cutting down the trees, putting trucks on property, on and on. There's no plan. There's no direction.
No, you're not going to get an argument. No, thank you. I appreciate the call. And look, this is what I'll do. I'll reach out and see if I can get Alderwoman Taylor to talk about this. So Royal Capital, my man Kevin Newell is developing Cudahy Farms. Kevin Newell, African American. I love Kevin. I need to be honest. I am a fan favorite.
I love Kevin too, Michelle.
He's a very responsible.
But I don't want this to happen on this property.
Look, so let me see if I can get Alderwoman Taylor on the phone and see if I can get her to talk about the issue. Thank you as always for flagging it. And being on top of local issues that a lot of people aren't talking about. So the calls are always welcome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for being there.
Yep, no problem. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna see if I can hit Alderwoman Taylor. So I went back and I found an article that was done by one of my least favorite outlets. But anyway, Urban Milwaukee. A proposed affordable housing development for Milwaukee's far northwest side may receive a cold reception from the Common Council, but the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Milwaukee, over the objections of Alderwoman Larissa Taylor and a handful of neighbors, cast a divided vote Thursday to advance the proposal. Now, this was written back in March 20th to be exact. The city will provide $3.7 million to the $56.8 million first phase of Royal Capital Group's Cudahy Farms project. The majority of the units in the 212-unit first phase would be set aside for seniors age 55 and older. All of the units in the initial phase of the gated development would be set aside for those making no more than 80% of the area median income. The project would ultimately include 1,125 units built over 15 years on a 51-acre site. Would be built on a largely undeveloped parcel near the intersection of North Swan and West Brown Deer Road. It was formerly used by the YMCA, which would continue to operate a child care center and its Miracle League Baseball League at the site. I'm really excited about this project. For many years, we've been trying to find a way to get more housing, not just in the district, but across the city, said Commissioner Montavious Jones, a real estate consultant. The board, after 2 hours of debate, passed the proposal on a 4-2 vote. It will next go to the Common Council. Taylor didn't explicitly ask the board not to approve the development, but instead gave a more than 15-minute presentation that included her own slides and a long list of concerns. Taylor's council colleague, Alderman Lamont Westmoreland, who also serves as the council's RACM representative, indicated approval by the Common Council isn't likely to be as straightforward. He voted against the proposal after Taylor said she didn't think her concerns had been addressed by Royal Capital. Commissioner Monique Charlier joined him in opposition. It sounds like there is a huge gap between what you see fit and what they're trying to do. It sounds like there is more discussion that needs to take place, said Westmoreland. The council since 2023 has already been holding a zoning change for the proposal. Royal Capital is now trying to advance the proposal to unlock low-income housing tax credits in May when a new funding round opens. Depending on what concerns Taylor was raising, the development is either a utopian type area or a new source of crime for an for already crime-plagued area. She gave a similar presentation to the Granville and Havenwoods Advisory Committee earlier this month. Quote, "My job is to represent the neighbors. That's what I was elected to do," said Taylor. The concern is adding more people into an area that is already challenged that could create a more challenging area. She raised concerns with Royal Capital's other developments, including the Fortitude apartments above the new Good Hope Library in her district. But she said another development, the Thrive on King complex, was working well. So I wonder what's going on in terms of the Good Hope Library apartments. Taylor said she had toured the area with Fire Chief Aaron Lipsky and said more access points would be needed. Royal Capital Development Director Terrell Walter said the only feedback it had received about the turning radius on streets inside the development, Royal Capital said he would Royal Capital, he said, would be installing fire hydrants throughout the development. Walter said in response to Taylor's concern, the entrance was relocated north to West Ferry Chasm Drive, and the landscaping plant was refined. A landscaping buffer was expanded. The Alderwoman was walked through existing developments, and walking paths were expanded to 6 feet. Taylor has repeatedly raised concerns about the density of the proposal and the existing housing density of the area. But the area, according to U.S. Census Bureau data, is approximately half of dense as the city average. She said conditions had devolved at other senior housing developments in her district after owners changed. We were asked by Alderwoman Taylor to limit access to our amenities to the residents that call this place home, said Walter, but Taylor later criticized what Walter said was her own idea that she restricted access would lead to children being asked to leave the utopian development after playing baseball and visiting child care center. Amenities including a putting green, indoor golf simulator, walking trails, a playground, telehealth center for seniors, basketball court, outdoor stage, and business center. I understand the desire to have something new, but one of my things I have to say for the district is that we don't want just something new, but something of quality that will stand the test of time, she said. The push for approval with a rare RACM appearance from the Department of City Development Commissioner and RACM Executive Director Lafayette Crump. He said the administration was, quote, quite supportive of the proposal. It adds additional value to the city's tax base and adds additional stability to an area that needs and deserves it. So there's some more stuff, but bottom line, I think that was the gist of most of it. Reading from a report from a city forestry report, said the city's tree canopy produced an $18 million annual benefit, and Royal Capital will be cutting down century-old trees. She said also the company had failed to respond when ash trees fell on the property of homeowners to the east, including her garage. This was a woman that was testifying. She presented a petition in opposition from neighbors. 2 letters were submitted in the opposition. So there are folks that are saying that some of these developments pose a problem when the properties change hand, new owners come in, not as committed to some of the promises made by some of the other outfits that originally had them. So from right now, what I'm being told is we have Alderwoman Larissa Taylor on the line. Let's get her in. Hey, Alderwoman Taylor, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. Talking a lot about what's going on with the Cudahy Farms project. We had a listener to the show call in to raise a concern about what he said was the lack of a real plan for the north side of Milwaukee. And so I was saying I was going to try to reach out to you to see if you could give us a little bit of background on what's happening over here. And so thank you so much for reaching out and calling us.
So So a little bit of background about Cudahy Farms. It is located on 92nd and Swan Boulevard, off of Brown Deer Road. And it's the old YMCA that's over there.
Right.
So there's a developer that would like to come in, and he would like to put 1,125 units on this 50 plus acres of land.
Wait, Alderwoman Taylor, I'm sorry. I just realized that I was up against a break. Do you have a moment for me to take the break and come right back?
I do.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. It's so appreciated. All right, family, let me go to break real quickly. And again, we will hear from Alderwoman Larissa Taylor about the concern raised by a listener regarding this development on the north side of Milwaukee. Be right back, y'all.
Back to Say Something Real with your host, Michelle Bryant on WNOV.
Good morning and welcome back. So we are fortunate enough to have Alderwoman Larissa Taylor from the 9th Aldermanic District on the line with us. It's the 9th, right, Alderwoman Taylor?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Discussing this project, the Cudahy Farms project, Royal Capital Group. So Alderwoman Taylor, you were telling us the location of this proposed project and the number of housing units that they were talking about, like 1,125 housing units.
Yes.
Please continue.
So that 1,125 housing units was 1,145. But the neighbors over there had given many reasons as to why this development would not be great for that specific site. Part of that is because there were there are a number of wetlands that are on that site. And so when we presented that to them, they had not yet done a delineation study. And this project had been in the works for a couple of years.
So help
once they
people
did,
understand, Alderwoman, help people understand real quickly what you mean by a delineation study.
so they had not surveyed the land to see if there were any wetlands there. And so eventually we had convinced them that this needed to be done. Once they did that, there were 15 wetlands there. Now, there are several more man-made wetlands, but there were 15 natural wetlands that were present on that land.
And can I just ask the question again,
Yeah.
because everybody may not understand. So why does it make a difference that Jay, can you catch that door for me? Why does it make a difference that wetlands are on this land? Why would that change the project needs or the project going forward?
So wetlands are protected, and if you build too close to them, you don't have the stability that you need for those buildings, and so they want you to be so far away from a wetland.
Okay.
And so so we found that there were 15. So they modified the development just a little bit. Neighbors also complained that having 1,145 more units could bring about 3,000 more people, because if you figure that you're not going to have one person per unit. In some cases, you would have a family, right? Because there are 7 senior buildings being proposed, and then there's multiple townhouses that are being proposed.
Okay.
And so on this site, if you have that many housing units, you can reasonably make the assumption that you could have up to about 3,000 plus more people added to our district. That's an incredible large number of people that's going to be added to an area that is already heavily populated.
So what do you say
Why I
when?
say that?
Oh yeah, because I
I'm
was just
sorry,
gonna
let me-
say,
yeah.
because this in the thing that I read in Urban Milwaukee, they were saying that the folks from the city said, but when they took a look at it, it's not any more densely populated than other areas, I guess, of a comparable size. That wouldn't be uh uh a harmful situation in terms of adding that number of people. What do you say to that concern?
Well, let me please explain. This development would be directly across the street from the Woodlands, which is already a very compromised area as far as crime. Last year, we lost 2 young people that lived in the Woodlands. That was the 9-year-old boy, where the bullet went through the window and went through his head while he was in his bed. That says a lot for the area. We need to clean up the area before we go and add another 3,000, or I would say 1,000 plus people, because if you consider that you could have one person, but I doubt it very seriously, because if you have units that could hold a family, you probably will. So I'm going to stick with that 3,000 number, but you're going to add that to a place that is already challenging.
So where are we now? Because the caller said that there is some upcoming meeting that is scheduled, I guess maybe for the full Common Council to look at this project.
No,
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go
it's
ahead.
actually scheduled for zoning, the zoning committee, and so we are going before zoning on next Tuesday on the 8th at 9:30.
And so how are you at this point? I mean, going back and forth with the developers, the different committees and individuals who would have, some say at different portions of this project. Are you feeling heard? Because that was one of the things that was mentioned in the Urban Milwaukee column, and the caller to the show even said it doesn't feel like Alderwoman Taylor's concerns are fully being taken seriously or addressed, or that she's being heard. How are you feeling about the reception you've been getting from these people as you've raised concerns, both either with your colleagues or with the city or with the developers?
I think there are some people that are hearing the concerns, and please note that when I raise concerns, The concerns I raise are the concerns that are brought to me by my constituents. They hire me to do a job, and that is the job that I'm going to stand on. And when they tell me that this development does not fit the needs of the community and that it actually takes away from the needs of the community, those are the concerns that I'm going to present. And I'm going to continue to present those concerns until they are heard and the development is either modified or taken away.
So in the article that I read, there was a reference made to the Good Hope Library project and the
Yes.
housings that went in over there, and they actually quote you basically talking about like what went on with the Thrive On project seemed to be working, that there were concerns about the housing project connected to the Good Hope Library. Can you speak to that at all?
The largest concern about that is I got a call a couple weeks ago to go out and talk. And anytime a resident called me, I'm going to come and I'm going to hear them out and listen to their concerns. And we're going to work together with them to find a solution. In this case, I got a call from some residents said that they feel like they're almost living in a prison. Why? Because they said that they can't have company. Why is that? Because the parking was not planned for. If you are building a brand new building from the ground up and you're not considering the needs of the people, that might be a problem. We have a library there that has parking, shared parking, that has been divided for the apartments that are on top. We have residents who have 2 and 3 bedroom apartments and they only have one parking stall. So I've had residents say to me that, okay, if my son comes and stay with me and I have a 3 bedroom apartment, there's no place for him to park. I had a lady who had heart surgery. When a caregiver comes to take care of her, there is no place for the caregiver to park. Now we might say, well, what about the surrounding area? Well, right behind that building is Noyes Park and a train track in between the two. You cannot take away from a county park. On the other side, just east of that is a gas station. You cannot do anything with that. That's private property.
Right.
And directly across the street are a number of businesses from Smile Dental Institute. There was where the Children's Hospital was located in that space. And then you have a large parking area, Abundant Faith Church. Outside of that, we have Good Hope Road. You cannot park up and down Good Hope Road.
Right.
So parking had not been considered.
So how
When
many
you're building
units? Do we know how many units are in there?
65 units are in there.
And so do we know what the actual, because I use the Good Hope Library. I'm there, a couple of times a month. And, so I know like they got the reserved spots, at least for the library patrons. So, I can just get in and get out. But I have actually wondered, where do people park? Because that parking lot looks like it can accommodate, I don't know, 50 cars, maybe?
Yes, and you're right. Yes.
But is there parking? Jermaine is asking, my producer, he's asking, is there parking in the back behind the apartment structure?
Yeah. There is parking, but that is all the parking that the apartment building has, is the parking that is behind the structure. And there's a number of parking spaces to accommodate the number of units. However, if you have a 3 bedroom unit, and they are very large, nice units, but if you have a 3 bedroom unit and you only have one parking stall, they're only considering 1 car per unit.
Well,
if you have a family that could fit into a 3 bedroom unit, you might need more than one. Yeah. As I mentioned, a resident who has a son come to visit, or if you just have an out of town guest for a short time, you only have 1 parking stall and no access to others. In many cases, if someone isn't using a parking stall, somebody may say, well, many apartment buildings might charge you extra for an extra parking space. But in this case, this isn't what's happening. And so the residents are a little taken back in that they can't add to their family. If there's a two income household, let's say, and you have a husband and wife or partners, and you each have a vehicle, You only assigned one parking space. Where's the other vehicle going to go? You would think that maybe the planners in the beginning of this may have thought about the standard of living for the people that were going to be living there, and maybe had considered, how do we make sure that we have adequate parking for this space, for this development.
So
But that was not done.
look, and those are valid concerns. So let me ask then, so where are you now with this proposal? Are you seeking to have it stopped? You want it to move forward, but with amendments done? Where are you with this whole thing at this point?
Again, I represent the interests of the people. And so it's never my personal opinion of whether or not a development should come to our district, but it is my opinion based on the concerns of the residents. And the residents are saying to me, this is not a good fit for us. And so therefore, I'm going to represent that and say it's not a good fit for our community. It's not adding to the quality of life for the residents there. It's actually, it could potentially take from the quality of life that is there. We have a police department that's already stretched thin, and now we're going to add up to about 3,000 plus more people to an area that is already very challenged in that respect.
Well, Alderwoman Taylor, thank you, so much for taking time this morning, reaching out to make sure that we had the information to better understand the situation. I would ask you to please keep us posted. I live in the area, as you know. I'm up off 107th and Calumet. Got property in the area, so I care about the area. So yeah, any information that we can get to be updated, any community meetings that you may hold, anybody that needs to be aware of zoning committee meetings, if there's an opportunity for the public to be engaged, I would, as you know, I welcome information from you, and we are happy to share that with listeners. So thank you so much
well, you are
for your
very welcome. I would
responsiveness.
like to say one more thing, because what's going to happen on Tuesday is what they've presented is that they're going to present phase one. So I want people who decide to come to the meeting to understand that this began as a 4-phase project, and presenting phase number one and saying, well, we'll do phase one, and if that goes well, then we'll come back to the drawing board and we'll ask you for phase two. That's not a compromise, because the ultimate end result for you is to still have 1,125 units. So presenting that you want just phase one right now doesn't eliminate the fact that you still want to do 1,125 units. And so at this point, I'm representing the community and saying that on Tuesday, we don't want phase one even to go through, because the entire project has not been modified to fit or accommodate the needs of the residents in the area.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for making sure we understand that. I will make sure that I keep up with it now that it has been flagged. And, anytime somebody tells me I'm doing what the people that are reaching out to my office, and this is the thing I'm going to tell people too. Sometimes the number of people reaching out may only be 20 when you consider the size of a district. But as I used to tell people all the time, if that's who calling, that's who I'm listening to. So if there are people who feel differently about a project like this going in, you need to reach out to your alderwoman and let her know what your thoughts are. But to say nothing and then be upset and in arms later, it does nobody any good. So thank you for the level of responsiveness. And again, proactively reaching out to us. Like, I don't know who flagged it for you that we was talking or if you was listening, but it is appreciated. Because I'm literally like, let me find Alderwoman Taylor's phone number in my phone. So nope. And you had a gentleman who called in to talk about the great job that he believes that you are doing in the district. I know that you have been responsive when I have reached out. So just thank you so much. And we will keep our eye on this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
All right. You have a good day now. All right. Let me take the next caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Is this Kathy? I'm
No,
Angela.
No, this is Miss Pat Moore.
Oh, hey, Miss Moore, how you doing? I thought I
Alvin
recognized the voice. How you doing?
No, I'm doing good. Listen, this is what I want to ask you. The city is letting those people, the big corporation, come in and buy up the land, build up these big apartment complexes, and they're almost turning into a mini Cabrini Green.
Oh,
and
that's
what that is. They are, because you look at the apartments on Silver Spring, it's all those apartments just stacked up. Do you notice that over there by Browning School?
Silver Spring.
Yeah,
Silver
about
Spring.
62nd, I believe it is.
Is that Parkline? I mean, not Parkline, Westline?
No, it's neither one. And
it's just, I don't know what apartments is over
when
there.
you go past 60th and Silver Spring, you know where the police station is on 64.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like those apartments is over there, and you got the Silver Spring Neighborhood Center.
But it's those apartments have been over there for a long time, right?
Well, they been building new ones, so they built some
new
ones.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that. In conjunction with the ones that was already there. Okay, and so what's your concern about these apartments? What's happening with them?
I'm concerned about them building they're coming in, buying up the land, building all these apartment buildings, stacking people up, like she said, Miss Taylor said, and that's all it is like a mini Cabrini Green. They all packed up in one place. And I'm wondering if the city is allowing this. They have to talk to the city. They're selling the land to them. I'm wondering, are they getting some financial gain from it? Because why aren't they building homes for people? Why aren't they refurbishing the old houses that's sitting there vacant? And since we got all these homeless people and people that don't have the money to buy any homes or don't have the money to pay this humongous rent that they're charging, and I just wanted to know, can somebody give me some information on that? I was hoping she was still on the phone. I could ask her that.
Okay, and I need to figure out who's the alderperson for that area. But I know one thing: the city definitely is not going to usually shy away from developments because that's property tax base. That's money that's being generated in addition to what we already have. So that's part of the piece about the financial incentive. Why some of this stuff is happening, because they need money and they welcome anybody that's getting ready. Well, I shouldn't say they welcome anybody, but they welcome the opportunity to have that tax base increase. So that's one. But in terms of, and I think too, and thank you for the call. I appreciate it. But I think,
sure.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll listen to you while you talk. I'm
okay. Thank you. No problem. But
sure,
I think too that Milwaukee has been very fortunate because the Miss Moore, she referenced Cabrini Green. I remember the Robert Taylor homes over in Chicago. I remember coming to Milwaukee, and when people were telling me that Berryland, Parkline, Westline was the projects, I was like, they the what? Because this ain't what projects look like. I feel like I'm in Alabama somewhere because this ain't what projects look like. Coming out of New York and living in the places I have lived, I'm like, it's tons of people packed into a community. This is not it. So Milwaukee, certainly Wisconsin overall, but Milwaukee has had a different experience when it comes to apartments and housing. Because if you look at downtown, it's apartments on top of apartments. If you look at the east side, it's apartments on top of apartments. We almost have a little bit of a suburban feel sometimes out here because of how well things are spaced out. But if you look at other parts of the city, again, downtown, Third Ward, east side, man, you can open your window and put your hand in somebody else's house. That's how close some of these units are. So on one hand, we've been afforded a degree of space, if you will, that's not traditional in urban metropolitan areas. We really have been. It's almost like I say about our rush hour. People, the traffic is horrible. Wait 15 minutes, it'll be over. Maybe 20. And we get spoiled because we think that's how it's supposed to be. But in reality, if you go to most cities, we got a whole different ball game going on here that's way better than in a lot of places. I think now the rest of the world is catching up to Milwaukee, and you may see some changes. Let me go to break. I'll be right back.
with your host, Michelle Bryant, on WNOV.
All right, family. So the show took a decided turn today. Thank you to the listener who blew it up. I appreciate you. Nah, I will talk about the budget bill and everything going on with that on tomorrow. We got callers on the line. Let me also say that I had planned to bring into the conversation. I think that is listed on the screen for topics I wanted to get to this morning. What's happening with the McGovern Park Senior Center redevelopment, and that there had been a vote 10-7 by the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors against an administration backed plan to redevelop the aging facility into a mixed-use complex. The resolution effectively places the 60-year-old center on life support, leaving community members and county officials at a crossroad over its fate. So I got to talk about that because I had the folks on here who were talking about, we held community sessions trying to get people to weigh in on the McGovern Park Senior Center. We need something for seniors on this side of town, meeting space, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of folks were actually shocked when it got shot down. I had been hearing grumblings in the background. And then the vote came out and the county executive issued a statement, which I meant to pull up for this morning, which basically said, all right, y'all shot it down, but we got to come up with the money to figure out how we going to repair this and make the necessary maintenance, upkeep to this property, or it ain't going to be open at all, basically. So what we doing? And then I heard that the money that was earmarked for that project potentially is already gone to another community. So that's on the discussion plate too. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello? Caller?
This is Lisa Martin.
Hey, we just got the whole the crew calling. Hey, Supervisor Martin, how you doing today?
I am doing very well. How are you all?
Good. So I'm assuming you heard me just reference the McGovern Park Senior Center development vote.
Yes, I did, and I also heard the conversation. A part of the conversation with Alderwoman Taylor and the proposed development in her district. So I wanted to comment on that as well as the McGovern Park.
Okay.
We know that we have a housing shortage here in Milwaukee proper, the city of Milwaukee.
So wait. When you say that, because there will be people that will be like, what do you mean? Because like a lot of people look downtown, they see all these buildings going up, and I've done it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where y'all gonna find people to fill all these apartments at downtown? So when you say housing shortage, is there data that supports that? Do we know what that looks like in terms of numbers?
Yes, we need to look at the Wisconsin Policy Forum Institute and other data that is available, and we can shoot that off over to you guys at some point. We're in the 21st century. Housing in Milwaukee proper, it could be 90 years old. I live in a house that's like 92 years old. And the housing stock just isn't built for 21st century living. That's a quote from a listening session that I attended.
Okay.
And to a degree, that is absolutely correct. People want these open floor plans, and all these amenities built into their homes. And we don't have that now. And people want to have better looking, better flowing housing. And we know that many of these houses have lead pipes. My home has lead pipes. We need newer facility, and there's not a problem with that.
Okay.
The problem comes in with developing. What are you doing with the derelict buildings that are lingering around the city of Milwaukee? Some have been vacant for 15 years, up to 40 years. We still need to develop the old Sears building on Fond du Lac and North Avenue. It's an eyesore. So we need to look at that and recognize we do need better housing. Mayor Cavalier Johnson has this vision for growing Milwaukee. We want more professionals coming into the city. We want to have more headquarters for businesses in our city, again, to shore up property taxes that will alleviate some of the burdens from the residents. So We got to change our mindset and our thinking, yet not being taken advantage of. Okay? With the McGovern Park Senior Center. The key word here is park. Talking about parkland. Parklands have a designation and they have to be protected. Just like the wetlands Alderwoman Taylor was speaking to, there are protections around natural wetlands. We cannot have a locust mentality of build, 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 and wipe out all green spaces while leaving behind desolate developments from the past and no one's touching them. The best way I can give people for this analogy I'm using is if you've seen the movie Independence Day starring Will Smith and Vivica Fox. At one point, they have the alien captured. The president of the United States is there. Somehow the tentacle gets out, gets wrapped around the president's neck. And once they kill the alien, the president makes a statement, and I'm paraphrasing. I now know what they want. I've seen what they're doing. They're going from planet to planet, depleting the resources and killing it off. And that's what's happening. You develop new spaces and leave desolation behind, and there are eyesores everywhere. And you can see that across Milwaukee County. But here in the city of Milwaukee, I think it's prevalent, and go up and down any main artery. And I dare you to say you can't find 5 buildings that could be redeveloped into a community center, a multi-family unit complex, so on and so forth.
So what was the problem with the McGovern, proposal? And I did pull up some data. I certainly went to the Wisconsin Policy Forum's website, but I also pulled up some data that said Milwaukee County has a shortage of approximately 40,000 affordable rental units for families earning $15 an hour or less. Specifically, there are only 30,000 rental units available for $650 a month or less, while 70,000 families in the county fall into this income bracket. So, that's the other thing I think when we talk about housing shortages, that you also hear people put a qualifier on it, affordable housing, because as I said, they built in all this housing downtown. Most people can't afford to live downtown. So I just wanted to add that since I had raised that question. But in terms of McGovern, why was that project seen as problematic?
Okay. First, let me address what you said about affordable housing. This is something I learned back in 2018. Didn't know this. Low-income housing and affordable housing are two different things. You and I are thinking, affordable housing, so it's going to be according to my income. Hello. No, it's not.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
But with the McGovern Park project, it was going to be a beautiful project, a fabulous project. I'll stipulate to that. The problem, once again, is park land. We cannot have housing in a park, period. McGovern Park plus housing equal no. And I will continue to say that when the subject is brought up. When you have housing, there are protections that have to be around that housing. People want to live in their homes, be it apartment, duplex, fourplex, or multi-unit, beyond. You're going to take public land, put a private development on it. That's housing. Those people are going to have privacy fences, privacy hedges, and there's going to have to be something where you can't have an event so close and so loud because we have people residing there. And I always ask the question in our listening sessions and on Facebook posts, is it legal to live in a Milwaukee County park? Is it legal to camp in a Milwaukee County park? Absolutely not. And that is not a challenge for lawmakers, local or state, to lift the restrictions on living in a park. We want that to stay in place.
So do they just rezone portions of the park and make it where that is not fully under Milwaukee County's
That's
purview
what
and
would happen.
control?
That's exactly what would happen. And Milwaukee County would not have had any say so over the center. None. Because it's a private development and they would appoint representatives to speak for JFS. In this case, it's the Jewish Family Services, which is a magnificent organization. Have absolutely no problem with JFS. They do awesome, awesome work. Let me make sure people hear that caveat. I would love to have had that project proposed in one of the sites, many sites across the magnificent 7th district or any other district, and I would have been a yes vote. But if it's inside of a park and you're taking park land away from the public, I will never support that, ever.
So I guess I'm trying to, because I went back and pulled up the county executive statement about
Mhm.
this whole project. And, you know, if the very, I'm about to trip over my words, because if at the very foundation of it, which is it's illegal to have housing in a county park. I mean, so did anybody just propose selling off this portion of land? Can we just sell it off? Can we make a decision to do that? And then that project go forward? Because was the project contingent on money from the county?
No, it was not. We had $2 million of housing fund that were allocated for this project, and that is the reason the center would be able to be built. And the only way the center would be able to be built with this proposed project, because you're using housing dollars, and then you would have to, JFS was going to fundraise and get the remainder of the dollars that would be needed to build this facility. And there are so many sticking points of, if you read the resolution and you read the lease, is senior community center / community center. And we know what that slash is, the 4 slashes and or. So it may not be a senior center. It may just be a community center where it's multi-generational. And the seniors spoke very loud and clear. Those seniors that actually go and utilize that facility says, no, we don't want that. We want a senior center where we can come together with our own generation and have interaction. And we invite young people in when we want to. Because we've done. We've served, and they sound like they've been serving a prison sentence. They said, we served our time.
So,
and we now want some freedom from that. And
so,
they were loud and clear on that.
so look, I'm
Seniors
up
do not
against the
want that.
I'm up against the clock, but just for people that want to follow this, so what's next? Is this now a dead deal? Did the money leave and go to another community? I mean, is there any more say on this? What happens at this point?
They can very well move this to a different district. There are 18 districts. I am one. And or they can come back with a different development scenario where there is no housing. Seniors are very, very vocal about this. They don't want any housing above their community center. So we have to continue to look at other ways in which we could potentially develop a new center, or as they keep threatening, it's going to go away. And the seniors are fully aware of this. And I don't know if you saw my text. I think we need to have a city and county community listening sessions, and just to engage, as well as town halls, to engage the community so that we all can begin to understand our civic responsibility, our elected officials' responsibilities, and how do we frame what's happening in our city so that we can get meaningful, thoughtful developments in the north side of Milwaukee proper.
Well, I'm gonna just say this as I close out, so we can get Mr. Frazier on the line. That potentially some of those town halls actually need to be just held here at the radio station, and so that we can reach more people, got people to the table, take phone calls, as opposed to getting 50 or 100 people in the room. You know, we can try to even expand that reach in addition to physical meetings in the community. So I'm certainly open to working with you and others to see if that's something we can actually do here at the radio station to help, to help those conversations along. Thank you, Supervisor Martin.
Thank you.
I appreciate the call. All right, family. Look, again, to my favorite caller who says, look, Michelle, I know you're talking about, Diddy and the stars. But let me put this on your radar. I'm cool with it because, like I said, McGovern was on my list of things to do this morning. I definitely have to get to the budget bill. The impact on, residents, our listeners, is coming. We'll see what happens today if they're able to get this vote through. They've been doing this since 9:30 last night, so we'll have the conversation. So with that, I'm going to wrap the show for the day. Thank you to the legislators or the elected officials that tapped in to have listeners hear from you. And these were all proactive calls. And so I certainly appreciate it. I tell people all the time, the format is open, but I am funny. If you ain't nobody that come when you don't need something, I mean, when you run for office, then don't call me once you get in, because I get real irritated by that. But all right, that's the show for today. I appreciate it. Thank you to the bros in the studio, Jermaine Rideout and all his specialness.
Yes, ma'am. Respectfully.
And family, I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Debo, wake up. Peace.
He's checking the leaks in his eyelids.
I know. With them shades on. I want to wake up shades on at work.